What's up, guys? It's your man Will Freeman from RevolutionaryLifestyleDesign.com, coming to you today to talk about how to own your 20s. And this is an incredibly important thing for you to take in. Whether you're going to read the article on the website, whether you're watching this on YouTube or listening to the podcast on iTunes, this is so important. Uh, your 20s are the most important decade of your life. This is the make or break decade that's going to set the tone for your success in the rest of your life. It is the prime of your youth, prime of your business building. It is the prime of you setting the foundation for success. And your 20s is going to determine whether you're going to be a successful guy or a mediocre guy. Okay, there's very few people who are able to make massive changes once they get into their 30s because they get too stuck in their ways, they get too fearful, too complacent, and they tend to stick to the status quo. I'm putting this together for you as I'm closing in on my 34th birthday, and I've been looking back over the last decade and a half, and there's so many important things you need to learn for your 20s to be prepared for success and to be able to live the life that you deserve to live. If you're serious about personal improvement and you're serious about succeeding with women and getting in shape and business ownership and all these different things that are going to add value to your life, you really need to be prepared. Okay. And when I was 19, I was not prepared at all. I was lazy, I was undisciplined, I was depressed, and I had no father, I had no mentor, I had no help. My family didn't understand me. I was completely lost. And not only that, I didn't have any concept of what the real world looked like. I couldn't have told you how a real estate agent made money, or the difference between sales and marketing, or what types of jobs were available to me. I was in university, I was failing out, I was taking philosophy because that's what I was interested in, but obviously philosophy has no use in the real world, and I had no idea what I wanted to do with my life. So I was medicating with weed and alcohol and porn and really had no direction. What I did have, though, was what I've always had, which is a strong will. And I knew that I needed to make a change, but I didn't know how to go about doing it. So I didn't have, this was back when the internet was, in its infancy. I didn't have personal development websites. I didn't have, blogs. I didn't have the millions of books that are available on Kindle down to every micro niche. And the self-help stuff that I had was, generic Tony Robbins stuff, which is just did not cover all the bases. And I made so many bad decisions, so many unnecessary mistakes, started so many businesses that just weren't even viable from the start, looking back on it. And eventually, I established myself. I got successful in both as a prop trader and as a salesman, and I got the apartment, and I got the suits, and I got the girls, and I got all these different things that, the so-called successful man's supposed to have. But that still wasn't enough, and I still didn't feel like I had my life's mission. And it wasn't until I was close to turning 30 that I was able to reflect on the decade and reflect on all that I learned. And I remember wishing that I had someone who was there to guide me through it. And I remember thinking that I could have been so much farther ahead, and I could have saved myself so many mistakes and so much pain, and could have done so much more if I'd had that guidance. And it was in that moment, in that instant, that my mission, revolutionary lifestyle design, crystallized itself. I realized there must have been millions of guys like me without a father or without direction, or who are going through some difficult things. And I said, to myself, I'm not going to be able to rewrite my own history, but I'm going to be able to help other guys succeed and live the life that they want to and avoid the mistakes that I made. I eventually, got RLD going and got it off the ground and bankrolled a ton of cash from sales and moved out to Thailand. And now I get to do this every day. And, it was like the final piece of my life came together. But it took me too long. It took me well into my 30s. And what I want to do in this article, in this video, in this podcast, is show you the way to hit it out of the park from day one, to start with success, to get everything right, to get you past those obstacles so that you don't even have to go through them, to take maybe 5-10 years off your learning curve, take the pain and going broke and debt and business failure and heartbreak and all these different things. I want to eliminate that for you, and I want you to be your 20s to be smooth sailing. I want you to be able to come in, and I'm getting you right now. If you're 19, 18, 19, 20 and you're watching this, I really hope you take this stuff to heart, okay? Because this is what I've learned over the last decade and a half, and I wish there was someone when I was 20 who would show me this kind of stuff. And what I want you to do when you're internalizing this stuff, okay, the article is about 5,000 words long. So if you really want to get into depth, make sure you read the article. But while you're internalizing this stuff, I want you to imagine that you're your 34-year-old self. Okay, imagine that you're in my position, you're about to turn 34, and you have a shot to do it all over again. Okay, to do it all over again and not to make the same mistakes twice, because I would kill for that shot. I would kill to do it all over again and to do it right the first time. Okay, I want you to picture that from that perspective, because it's such an opportunity. And I want you to avoid these mistakes, because every mistake that you make in your youth, you pay for with compound interest in your future. Okay, every $100 that you blow on booze at 23 is $1,000 at 33 if you'd invested in your own business and let that money compound with interest. Okay, the damage that you do to your body from poor diet and poor training routines, you're going to feel that shit in your 30s. You're going to wake up and your back's going to hurt and your joints are going to be stiff, and your gut health is not going to be there. Every mistake you make in your youth, you pay for with compound interest every single year. But everything you do right, you also get back in compound interest. Okay, I wish I was selling for myself when I was 24, because I could have had clients that are paying me now at 34. I could have had clients paying me for the last decade. You have the opportunity to do that if you get your shit together right now. Okay, if you don't, you're going to be like every other guy living a mediocre life. And as you become an adult and you develop a sensitivity and you start to be able to read people, you'll see the pain in the eyes of guys who are on the subway Monday morning on their workday commute. You'll see it in your friends' unguarded moments when they are married and they have kids and they're unhappy. You'll see it with your family members. You might see it with your father. You'll see it everywhere. And that doesn't have to be you. Okay, you can live a life of abundance. You can live a life of freedom. You can live a life in the sunshine. You can own your own business. You can choose your own time. You can choose your own friendships. You can have, great relationships with multiple different women. You can get in great shape. You can feel healthy every day. You can beat the odds, but you've got to be prepared. And what I want to give you is a game plan for being prepared, because if you're not prepared, failure to prepare means preparing to fail. Okay, and your 20s are very fucking serious, okay, and they are as serious as a heart attack. Okay, that's how you have to treat your 20s. And what it all comes down to is preparing and following through and not doing what your friends are doing. Okay, you're gonna have to go against the herd. If your friends are partying or smoking weed all the time, you got to go against the grain. Um, Most guys don't take their 20s seriously, and they spend their time being depressed or smoking weed or getting drunk and chasing pussy. And then by the end of their late 20s, they think, oh, I really have to get it together. But then you're a decade behind, and you've made mistakes, and you got to make up for it. And it's really hard to start a business in your 30s because you don't have the same energy. So I'm going to give you 15 rules, and this is going to be a game plan for your 20s if you internalize this. And I don't care how many guys are watching this or reading this or listening to this. If I just get through to one of you guys, then this is completely worth my time. I almost feel like my entire website is worth it if I just get through to one of you. If I can get through to one of you right now and and let you live the 20s that I wish that I lived, and avoid the mistakes that I made, then my mission is accomplished. Okay, that's how serious I am. So without further ado, let's get started. Point number one, start a business. The worst thing that can happen to you is not failing in business, it's failing to try. It's not starting a business. It's not even fucking trying because you're too scared. If you don't try and start a business, you're accepting mediocrity because you can't live the life that you want to when you work under fluorescent lights in an office 50 hours a week, and you got to do what someone says. You got to ask for permission to go to the bathroom and vacations, and you can't make good money if you work for someone else. Very few guys make over $100,000 as an employee unless you've gone through a decade of school and you're a lawyer, doctor, or whatever. And even then, you're working 70, 80 hours a week. It's just not worth it. Anyone who's wealthy and successful has his own business. And more importantly, if you want to own your own time, I can come and go as I please. I can take my bike, my motorcycle up to the mountains, drive through the mountains of Thailand, or spend an afternoon in bed with a girl, or go for beers with my friends at 1 o'clock on a weekday, because I own my own time. And that is incredibly, incredibly liberating and makes me incredibly happy. And that only comes from business ownership. So you've got to start a business, and you've got to do it while you're fucking young, while you're full of energy and piss and vinegar, because you're not going to have the same energy at 34 as you do at 24. And the younger you start, the more energy you're going to have and the better it's going to be. Okay, I started my first business when I was 26, but I didn't really get something off the ground until I started RLD, and I had 4 business failures behind me. But I wish I'd started a business at 18. I wish I didn't even go to university at all, and I wish I started a business right out of the gate. I started selling, and I started, making it happen when I had all that fucking energy. The younger you start your business, the better. And if you fail a few times, it doesn't matter. Your friends are still going to be in university. No one's going to have expectations of you. But when you're in your mid 30s, you have to have some kind of success. You can't sell girls on your potential for the rest of your life. But when you're in your 20s, and the earlier it is, the better. The more times you can fail, the more acceptable it is. The no one's caught up in the whole corporate cycle yet, and you've got all the energy and all the fearlessness, and that's when you want to do it, because no one starts. If you don't start a business, if you wait till after 30 to start a business, you're not going to start a business. Okay? After like a decade and a half of the corporate world, I'm the only guy I know who started a business, or who succeeded in having his own business. No one else did. They all got hooked on the paycheck and the suits and the mortgage and the debt and the car and all that. And if you don't think it'll happen to you, don't don't make that mistake, because you will get caught up in that corporate world. You'll get caught up in being that corporate guy. You got to accept that that's not going to be for you. That working for someone for the rest of your life is not an option, and business ownership is the only option, and it's do or die. Otherwise, you're going to get trapped by the comfortable paycheck, and the older you get, the more fearful, the more complacent you get, the more excuses you're going to have for not starting your own business, and you're not going to fucking do it. No one does it past 30, especially past 35. Guys just talk about doing it, but they stay at the same fucking job. And I looked on LinkedIn before this. All the guys I was working with are still doing it, still doing the same fucking thing. Okay, start a business and the younger the better. Number two, start the right business. The right business is a service-based business, okay? Talking about selling real estate or selling insurance or selling personal training services. If you live in a first world country, you got to sell expensive services like that. If you're willing to come out to Thailand or Budapest or Poland, you can do programming or web design or copywriting. I know all the guys that I know out in Thailand are living off their service-based business. I'm the only guy I know who lives off a product-based business, and I'm close to 4 years in. And to be honest, I got lucky with this blog. Okay, I'm in the right place at the right time, and I had the right skills. I'm the right age, and I had the know-how of 4 previous business failures before that. Okay, but 90% of product-based businesses fail. I don't know anyone who's got a product-based business. I know a bunch of guys, a bunch of young guys who came out to Thailand to do a drop shipping course. 90% of them failed and went back home empty-handed. A couple other guys made a bit of money, but they eventually sold their drop shipping and moved into a service-based business to pay the bills. It is very hard to do a product-based business. And even my product-based business now, I'm 4 years in and I'm making a fraction of what I did in sales. I could live in Toronto, where I'm from, but it wouldn't be that comfortable. I'm very comfortable here in Thailand, but I'm making way less than I could have. If I had started a service-based business 4 years ago selling real estate, I could have been doing $150,000, $170,000 by now with my sales skills. But I wanted to start a website because for me, this is my mission. I'm in it for life. So I know more money's coming in every month, and things are always moving up. But it took me till 3 years to turn a profit till I released my first ebook. And the only reason I'm willing to put up with that kind of a return is because I'm building an empire from day one. I'm in this for life, and I'm going to be doing this 10 years from now, 15 years from now, and the money will roll in. But an online product-based business like this takes a long fucking time to pay off because traffic is based on time and all kinds of different factors, and you need to master so many disciplines. It is not for rookies, and it's not going to pay the bills for you. Okay, I paid my bills with my sales job, and I banked a ton of cash, and then I came out here after the business had already started making me passive income, and now I got enough passive income to live on. But like I said, all those other factors, it's just not the right move for you. Start that service-based business, okay? You can be operational, making money, making good money 3 months from now. Okay, in the article I break down my buddy Phil. Phil was a personal trainer. He never worked a job. And then he moved his personal training business online and started selling fitness marketing services to other personal trainers. He moved out here to Chiang Mai with me, and he moved out to Thailand to accommodate the dip in income that he had from moving his business online. But over the last 6 months, he's recovered all his income, moved it online, is now doing 6 figures online with a service-based business, and also is moving into productizing his knowledge in 2 different fitness-specific niches. Okay, not bad for a guy who's only 27 years old. And his path is 100% applicable to every single one of you. Every single one of you could have followed that path if you had the willpower and the drive to do it. Okay, that is 100% applicable. And Phil's never had to work a job in his life. Phil's a guy who did it right from day one, and every single one of you has the opportunity to do that if you are serious about it. Number 3, don't go to college. College is a waste of your time. It's $100,000 in debt for a piece of paper that does nothing for you. Okay, I dropped out of university, but before that, I still had something like $20,000 I had to pay off. And getting a bachelor's degree has absolutely no value in the job market today. It boggles my mind how people are still spending their time chasing a geography major. Like, none of my friends, no one I know had any kind of use for their major. Okay, nobody. Completely useless. It's one thing, okay, if you're going to go into business or law or you want to be a doctor, but even those majors, I don't recommend. I'm a lifestyle designer. My job is to give you the optimum lifestyle, and being a lawyer, a doctor, working 80 hours a week is not optimum. Okay, you can be making at 26, 27 the same kind of money a lawyer makes from an online business and live anywhere in the fucking world that you want. Doesn't compute, doesn't compare. Don't go to college. The only exception is, and there's always an exception to the rule, and I've had guys email me about this, like if you've got really conservative parents, if you come from a first generation Indian or Asian family and your parents sacrificed their entire lives for your financial future and for you to succeed in life, it's going to be a very tough sell to convince them you're not going to go because some guy like me on the internet told you to. So if you do have to go to college, okay, I'm using have in quotation marks because you never have to do anything, but if the consequence is being shunned by your family and possibly being disowned, and you've got very strict parents, okay, I get it. But here's what you have to do. Pick a practical major that you can flip around into your own business as quick as possible. Okay, I'm talking about programming, I'm talking about web design, I'm talking about accounting, I'm talking about something that's in demand, something that is a service, and something that you can flip to your own major, and ideally something that's portable and pays well. Okay, programming is excellent. Any of you young guys with a brain, if you've got the brain, I mean, I couldn't program a microwave, but if you got a fucking brain for it, go into programming. And tell your parents what the plan is. Sell them that you're serious about business ownership. Show them how you're determined to make six figures by your 27. And even I think a conservative parent will agree with that plan. It's not like you're saying you're going to move to Hollywood or whatever. That's a logical, sound plan. Number 4, don't get married. Okay? Legal marriage is not an option in 2016. Not an option, guys. Because the divorce courts and the government do not side in your favor. Talking about losing half your assets, alimony, child support, all when you're in your late 40s and late 50s, all at the time where you're going through one of the most traumatic things that can happen to someone. So you imagine this: you're 48, you lose your house that you paid for, you lose your kids, you only get to see them on weekends if you're lucky. You got to pay for your wife's lifestyle while she's dating other guys. She takes all the furniture. There's no way to recover from that. You can't recover all your assets, and you can't. Starting again at 50 is the worst case scenario in the world. You can't recover all that financially or mentally. It is, and the divorce rate's 50%. Okay, there's a coin flips toss of that happening to you. And don't kid yourself in saying my wife wouldn't do that to you. When people divorce, you're seeing the worst version of that person. Your wife could be lovely person right now, but if she catches you cheating, she's gonna try and bury you. And guess what? People are non-monogamous. Okay, as a businessman, signing a contract for the rest of your life based on a temporary, transient, romantic emotion does not make any kind of sense, and especially does not make any kind of sense in 2016. Okay, I'm not saying you can't have a monogamous relationship. I'm not saying that you won't find the love of your life who maybe you could be together into your old age. That's certainly possible, but don't put it on paper, and don't get the government involved in that shit. Okay, even if you're going to live with a girl, you got to protect your assets. And if you're going to have children, you got to protect as little on paper as possible. Okay, you want everything to be protected. Even if you're going to move in with a girl, you get her to sign a contract, a contractual agreement, because in some states, common law marriage is just as bad as legal marriage. So you gotta protect yourself, and you gotta do your homework, and you can't get married. Okay, cannot do it. Number 5, don't have a family. You can't have a family in your 20s because you can't afford a family. In the Western world, you need to make $200,000, whether it's you or combined income, to be comfortable. You want to send your kids to good schools and braces and guitar lessons and live in a nice house and not have to worry about money. You got to be making 200 grand a year between the two of you. Okay. And if you want your wife to stay home and take care of the kids for the first couple years, which has been the successful arrangement throughout human history, you're going to have to foot a lot of that $200,000 yourself. If you're willing to live in a developing country, I'd say at least $70,000 to live really well and live comfortable. You want to have a family where money's not a concern, where you've got a consistent source of income, you got a lot of savings, you've got $10,000, $20,000 a month coming in, and you just don't have to worry about money, because you cannot start a business and have start a family at the same time. Those are two full-time jobs. In your 20s, what you need to do is you need to downsize, you need to get a cheap bachelor apartment, you need to lose the car, you need to eat cheaply, and you need to focus all your energy on getting that business up and running. Then once you get the business up and running and you don't have debt, then you can start taking on expenses, okay? You can start taking on a wife and kids, because that's the biggest expense in the world, right? Here's how it looks. If you're 37 and you've built a successful business, you've got yourself in shape, you've got your fashion together, you've got your game together, you've dated a ton of women so you know exactly what you're looking for, you're going to have no problem finding a 27-year-old woman to have kids with, okay? She's going to be 10 years younger than you, so you're going to have, she's going to age a lot better than if you pick someone your own age. And she's going to be happy to have an older, successful guy who is looking to settle down and start a family. Okay, your late 30s is where you're going to have kids, and that's it if you want to have kids. Okay, you need to really get to know yourself and understand if you're the type of guy that wants to have kids. I'm 34 and I'm still not sold on the idea. I very well might not have kids, or I might have kids. I'll see when the time comes. But for now, it's still all business, okay? And for you, it's got to be, especially you, when you're less established and you don't have money in the bank, it's got to be all about business. You can't have a family. That's going to fuck your whole shit up, okay? Number 6, chase money over women. I spent a lot of my 20s chasing women, and it was not a good return on my investments. I can't remember what half of them look like. None of them are paying my rent now, and I can't save the girls that I fucked when I'm 24 and have them where I'm 34. It doesn't work that way. But if I chase money, I could have. If I chase money, the money I saved at 24, I still could have had at 34. The money I reinvested in my business could have been paying my rent at 34. The money at 24 could have been compounding interest in my business and getting me 10, 20, 30, 40% a year compound interest every single year until now. Okay? The returns don't compare. With money, you can enjoy money in the present, and you can enjoy money into the future. With women, it's enjoying the present. There's no future guarantee. There's no future return whatsoever. It is not a good thing to have women as your number one priority. Being Mr. PUA superstar doesn't fucking matter, except to a small group of guys on the internet. It doesn't fucking matter, okay? Now, I'm not saying not to have women and not to chase women, okay? When you're young and you're having fun, chasing women is a great thing, but not as your number one priority. Women should be priority number 4 under your wealth, your health, your lifestyle, and women, okay? Not priority number 1. Chase girls, but do it in moderation. Maybe have 1 to 2 dates a week, okay? And have those dates be a night where you've done all your other shit for the day, okay? That can be your reward. You can reward yourself with a good dinner, or maybe you want to read, or you want to play video games. I'm not telling you guys to be a fucking monk, but after you've done your fucking shit for the day, then you can go have that girl over, or go on Tinder or whatever, but chase money first over women. Okay, this is very important. Number 7, chase money over power. The power that's available to you is not worth it. Okay, power comes with responsibility, power comes with headaches, power comes with less time for yourself. And the only way that sacrificing and putting up with all the bullshit that comes with and responsibility that comes with power is if you get a lot of power. Okay, if you got a shot at being a senator or a president or a general, or a billionaire who can control the media, okay, but you don't have that shot, guys. Okay, I got to be real with you. You're not going to be president, you're not going to be a general, you're not going to be a senator, you're not going to be a billionaire. That's reality. Your most realistic path to power is being a middle manager at a faceless corporation. Okay, and that involves killing yourself for 20 years under fluorescent lights to work 70 hours a day, and you get to tell a handful of people what to do, and you get to post some more letters next to your name on LinkedIn. Not worth shit. Okay, when you chase money, you get freedom. When you chase money, you get a business of your own where you can come and go as you please. You can work as little or as much as you want. You have money to do what you want. Okay, power does not compare to money. Money is freedom. Money is fun. Money is being able to live a life of fulfillment. Money is getting out of wage slavery. Money is so many different things that power cannot touch. So chase money over power. Number 8, chase money over status. When you look around, as you start to get into your late 20s, you're going to see after guys get out of school and they get a job, they're going to get a nice new condo, they're going to get married, they're going to get a nice new car, they're going to go out for expensive dinners 3 times a week, they're going to go to the exclusive nightclubs, and you're going to be thinking, how in the fuck is this guy going to pay for this stuff, and how do I keep up with him? That's the natural instinct, is trying to keep up with these guys you went to school with or the guys that you're working with. And I'll tell you how they do it. They are in debt up to their fucking eyeballs. They've got $500,000, $600,000 in mortgage debt, $50,000 in car debt. They've got, $20,000 in credit card debt. They're never getting out. They're never getting free. They're never getting their own business. They're never getting their time back. They're going to be slave to the system, and they're doing it all for, a shiny car and some suits, and they're mortgaging their life away for that status, so that they can keep up with the other fucking jerk-offs on LinkedIn or the guy they went to school with. And I've been there. Okay, I had the suit, I had the phone, the this, that, the condo. I would go to all the hot spots in Toronto, and I lived paycheck to paycheck to pay for that. I went into debt for that. And I couldn't even enjoy this stuff because I had to work a job that I hated, and I was stressed out about just keeping this whole house of cards together. And it is not fucking worth it. Not even close. You chase money, you get freedom. You get out. You put that shit behind you. Okay? And the truth is you're chasing status because you think that people are thinking about you. Okay? No one's thinking about you. No one cares about you, because the truth is no one cared about me when I was chasing status, and no one cares about me when I have this crazy business and I live in Thailand, because they don't have time to think about me. They're too busy thinking about their own status games. They're too busy thinking about how they look in other people's lives to think about you. The guys you're trying to compete with might think about you 5 minutes during the week, and they just don't really care. Everyone cares about their own status, and it's a surefire recipe for unhappiness. Okay? When you chase money, you can have all these other things. You can have freedom, and you can have the toys. And ironically, when you chase money, you become a successful self-made man. Ironically, you get the status, okay? But you got to chase the money first. Chasing status before money is like putting the cart before the horse. You chase the money, you'll get the status, okay? It's like Scarface said. First you get the money, then you get the women, then you get the power, okay? You get the status. Chase the money first, okay? That's the fucking point. Number 9, don't go into debt. As I covered a bit in point 8, debt is slavery. You you go into debt, you don't get out. Most people don't get out. I got out of debt, most people don't. Okay, because I was at least smart enough not to get the car in the house. Um, but most people don't get out. And there's no such thing as good debt. Okay, if you have to borrow to buy it, you can't afford it. Okay, if you have to get a mortgage to buy a house, you can't afford a house. That's why I tell guys not to buy a house. The only time you can buy a house is when you can pay for it in full. And that's only when you don't know what to do with all the money. Because otherwise, all your money should be going into your business where you can get 40, 100, 200, 300% return. My returns on blogging are in the 1,000%. I get, by the day my ebook goes to launch, I pay $500 for the formatting and for the design and all that shit. By the day my book goes to launch, those costs are paid back within one day. And my total cost per month for web hosting and all that shit is maybe like 270 bucks a month. That's my host. That's all my costs. That's all my overhead. My margins are I don't even 5,000% a year. Something stupid. You know, I would never put my money into something else until I've exhausted putting all my money into my business, until I've pushed every dollar back, because I get so much compound return from my business. And that's how you should approach it as well. Okay, not going into debt to buy a house that's going to chain you to that location. It's going to chain you to a giant fucking monthly bill where you're going to have to work a terrible job to pay for it. You're not going to be able to take the dip in income of starting your own business. Just stay the fuck out of debt. It's the devil. Number 10, become a producer. Okay? And that goes all the way through, not just what you do, but how you think. Okay? I look around and I think 999 out of 1,000 people are consumers. I look on Google App Store and I look at an app, that, like Google Maps, that is beaming the most advanced, incredible technology from a fucking satellite so that I can go on my motorbike and press a button, point to where I want to go on a map, put my headphones in, and a lady tells me where to turn. Okay, it knows every street in Thailand, so I don't have to fucking think about when I'm going to a new place. I can go to Google Maps and it literally tells me where to go. That boggles my mind that exists, and it's fucking free. And you look online at the reviews for the app, and it's 1 star, and it's a guy complaining in all caps about how the app didn't work for his new phone, and yelling at them, thinking that the Google developer himself is reading his fucking retarded review and is going to go change that app right away, instead of being incredibly grateful for the fact that, this is available. They just have this, the average person just has this entitlement consumer mentality that everything should just work, and that they don't even think about what it takes to build something like that. I have never written a negative review. I've never posted a negative comment on someone's free videos. I've never posted a negative comment on a blog or a forum, because I'm a producer. I am not entitled to consume a bunch of things. I don't think like a consumer at all. When I see a guy successful, who's doing better than me, in a niche that's similar to mine, I think, how do I do that? What do I take from this guy? What can I copy from this guy and make my own? I think that about everything in life. I think about everything from the producer's mentality. Okay, you gotta learn how to be a producer. And I know that a lot of you guys aren't gonna have money, or maybe you're not ready to start, or you're need to bankroll your business. Okay, learn how to be a producer. If you're going to have to work a job for a while to build your bankroll up like I did, work a sales job. I learned more from sales than I ever did in school. Okay, I watched and I asked questions, and I learned how much revenue we needed to do every month. I learned, like in my last job in ad sales, okay, I learned that our branch did 5 million a year in revenue. I knew that 2.2 million of that went to overhead and salaries. Okay, so like 50% of that went to overhead and salaries. Um, I learned how to chase revenue. I learned how to get more revenue out of clients, how to get clients, how to upsell clients, how to service clients, how to deal with angry clients. I learned everything about being a producer. And over close to a decade in sales, that knowledge is invaluable to me. Okay, part of the reason I have this business is because of that knowledge. Every single article and video I do is a sales case. I'm selling myself as an authority to you, and I'm taking a problem that you might have, and I'm selling you on a solution of exactly how to do that as an expert. And my sales training, it's all part of that. The way I write my sales pages, the way I decide which books to do, and I've actually got a book coming out on that called How to Sell, which is everything I learned in sales. Keep an eye out, that's coming out in the next month. But learn how to be a producer and take on a producer's mentality. Okay, forget about being a debt-ridden consumer. Put that shit in your rear view and become a producer. It's so important. Number 11, cut contact with negative people. Okay, you can't be a go-getter surrounded by no-getters. And if you're serious about personal transformation, a lot of the time your friends aren't going to be able to handle the new you. They're not going to respect you, and they're going to cut you down, and their depressive mentalities are going to wear off on you. You just got to get rid of the negative people. I'm not saying get rid of all your old friends. I've kept a couple guys who I've been friends with for 25 years, and I wouldn't trade their friendships for the world, even though they see the world, the traditional way, and I see the world in a very different way. I love those guys, but they are they're not negative guys who bring me down. Every time I see them, we have a good laugh. But the new friends that I met out here in Thailand are red pill guys. They're go-getters. They got online businesses like me. They think like me, and it's very important to have that around you. And I will not hesitate to cut someone off instantly. Okay, I cut guys off all the time. I meet a new guy, I bring him out with the guys, and then I decide that he's not for me, and I cut him off. And I'm ruthless with that. Okay, and you guys got to be ruthless with that too, because you are the people that you surround yourself with. Their state affects you, and your state affects them. And this is especially true if you're the low man on the totem pole. Like if you're coming out of high school and you were like the low guy in your group, and you were the guy that everyone stole points off of, and you were fucking sick of it and you're ready to make a change, you got to get rid of all those guys, because they'll never accept your transformation, and they're going to hammer you at every turn when you're trying to better yourself. Okay, get rid of negative people. So important. Number 12, take care of your health. You only have one body, and every injury that you have, if you eat a poor diet, you're going to feel that shit in your 30s. Okay, I promise you that. I got a knee injury, a nagging knee. I got a shoulder. I mean, I've done a lot of work on them, but that was from being reckless with sports. That was from training in the gym like an idiot. My gut is a work in progress, because in my early 20s I had a really bad diet. So this is shit that you're going to feel when you get older. And this is where you got to look through the lens of a 34-year-old and think like, where do I want to be a decade from now? Who do I want to be? If you're inspired by my life or whatever, I'm telling you, like, get this shit together. Don't, you can avoid all all these problems you had, or that you could have, and some of them that I have. And all you have to do is just get your shit together a bit earlier than everyone else. Be proactive about it. And not only is that important, that's going to be incredibly important in terms of how you feel in your 20s and how you look in your 20s, but also how you feel in your 30s and how you look in your 30s. I'm 34. I can still get 21, 22-year-old girls because I look younger than my age, because from 23 till 30, I didn't drink alcohol at all, because I exercise every day, because I dress well, I focus on fitness, I do my best with diet. I'm not 100%, but I eat better than most people, and all that shit is super important for both how you look and how you feel. The average 34-year-old guy looks like shit. He's got a beer gut, he's unshaven, he's poorly dressed. And, if you want to have an abundance of women in your life, you got to really take care of yourself and take care of your looks. There's a number of different things that are very important, and I've got a list of them on the article. Okay, I do restorative yoga, I exercise every day, I have a safe training routine, I use sunscreen and have a proper skincare a regimen, all these different things, and you can find them all on my website. You got to do, and you got to do them every day. Very, very, very important. So take care of your body because you only have one. Number 13, learn how to control your state. Your state is the most important thing in your life. All the women, all the cars, all the clothes, everything that you're chasing is to make you happy, okay? The truth is, your state is within your reality all the time. You have the technology within yourself to be happy at any given point, okay? If you learn how to control your state. I can be happy just sitting around reading a book. I can be happy having a shower because I'm grateful that I'm able to have a nice comfortable shower and I enjoy how I feel. I'm happy I get to go to the gym. The small things in life. I'm able to reframe negative thoughts because they're unproductive. I take the right supplements to keep my neurotransmitters high. I don't eat too much at one meal so that I don't feel sluggish. All these little things are so incredibly important. And if you don't control your state, it doesn't matter how much shit you have, you'll never be happy. Okay? Look at Hollywood actors surrounded by millions of dollars and women and everything a man could want. And how many of these guys have drug problems? Because they got all the external stuff. Okay, these guys were in pain, right? They were in pain. They didn't like their life, so they made major sacrifices and they went out to Hollywood and they did the crazy shit and they got there, but they didn't change the guy inside. They didn't learn how to control their state. So they have all the external stuff, but they're still not happy because they don't know how to control their internal state. And that is so important. I talk to guys all the day, all the time. Guys email me with problems, and 100% of the time, these guys have problems controlling their state. That's the real problem. You got to learn how to control your state, and you can check out my article on how to fight depression. That's got a ton of my techniques, and all my articles on mind and motivation have techniques that I use for state control. And the sooner you learn how to do that, the better it is, and the better you get. Okay, I've gotten better every year with controlling my state. And the man I am at 34 and the man I am at 20 doesn't exist. He doesn't even live in this body. That's how much I've changed because I've done the effort every year. And the sooner you start trying to control your state, the sooner you make it a priority, the better your 30s, 40s, 50s, the rest of your life is going to be. And you'll be shocked if you're consistently work on positive thinking, positive reframing, how much change you'll make a year, and then 2 years, and 3 years, and 4 years, and it just compounds. The man I am now who talks about nothing but positivity to you guys. I mean, if you saw me at 20, it wasn't even the same. I was angry, depressed, negative, just not even the same guy. Positive thinking, state control fucking works, and it's the most important skill in life. The sooner you get that together, the sooner you make it a priority, the better your 20s is going to be, and the better the rest of your life is going to be. Number 14, read every day. Okay, there's an old saying that goes, leaders are readers. And the older you get, the bigger the gap comes between guys who read and guys who don't read. Okay? I calculated, I read about 5 hours a day for the last 20 years because I love to read. I love knowledge. I love absorbing things. History, psychology, politics, dating, sex. I've read, it shows in my site. All that is through detailed research and reading because I'm fascinated by reading. I love to learn, and I see knowledge as power. I see knowledge as a leg up. I see knowledge as an advantage, and it's a massive advantage. And I calculated about 5 hours approximately of reading a day, whether it's blogs or articles or books for the last 20 years or so. And I calculated that's 4.1 years of 24/7 reading. okay? 4 years straight of reading 24/7. That's the amount of hours that I put into it, okay? Something like, you know, 1,500 days of reading straight. And the advantage that gives me over the average guy is incalculable. I couldn't even calculate how much advantage that gives me in business, in life, in my worldview, in personal development technology that I have, that I've built for myself, and in making logical arguments, and in every sense of competition. Not just that, but in the joys of reading, and the joys of learning, and being able to formulate a worldview, and being able to become a fully developed man, being able to express nuanced points, and not being um, prone to black or white thinking, the ability to do effective research on buying things, the ability not to get trapped into false gurus and false movements, and to be an independent thinker. I could go on and on, because the benefits of reading are immeasurable. Make reading a priority. Make it enjoyable. Okay, read stuff that you're interested in. That's the secret. Okay, reading's not a chore for me. It's something I look forward to, because I read shit that I'm interested in. I don't read about math and science because I'm not interested in that shit. Okay, read what you're interested in, and master it. Okay, become expert on different disciplines, and learn to love it. So important. Knowledge is power, and you've got access to the most incredible knowledge building technology in the history of man, the greatest equalizer in the history of man, the internet. There is no excuse not to be successful, or trying to be successful, when you have the internet. You cannot call yourself a victim when you have the internet. It's the equalizer. Everyone has access to the same information now. And the internet is like God's brain. You can just type, you can just ask a question and get an answer. For those of you guys who grew up with the internet, might not seem incredible to you, but for guys like me who grew up without it, it is still incredible to me that exists. And I'm so thankful for this technology. And it is criminal to waste. It is criminal to fucking not use the internet. If you want to succeed in online business, you need to know SEO, you need to know psychology, you need to know web design, you need to know the basics of programming, you need to know WordPress, you need to know 10 different things. And all that shit is available to you for free. I've mastered 10, 20, 30 different disciplines for my business, all just from going, okay, what do I need to know? And then just doggedly pursuing it. I was not a technical guy by nature. Okay, I didn't have a cell phone until I was 27, because I didn't want people to, be able to get a hold of me at all times a day. And I built up a business online just through fucking willpower, just through studying and reading. And you got access to the greatest knowledge building resource of all time, and knowledge is power, and not capitalizing on that is a crime. And the sooner you make reading a priority, the better it is for your 20s and the rest of your life. Finally, point 15, get organized. Real men are organized. Okay? I live my life on military discipline, almost. Okay? Everything goes back in the same place after I'm done with it. My place gets cleaned every week. I have someone to do my laundry every week. I order my supplements and everything that I need per quarter, all in paper towel. I pick all that stuff up in one day. I never run out of anything. I never have to go out in the middle of the night to get something, because I have everything prepared for the quarter, and I have everything bought that I need for the week, bought in advance for the week. Not to mention, I have all kinds of different systems running: monthly checklist, quarterly checklist, business review that I do every month, millions of different things that I'm running through my task list. You can get a brief outlook of how that looks in my article, How to Get Organized. You can get a brief outlook of how I handle organizing my home life in my article, How to Organize Your Place. I'll eventually have a full book on that for you, but just you got to get the basics down, okay? Got to get organized. You got to get up early. You got to shower and bathe every day. You got to keep your place clean. You got to have a to-do list. You have to have the business goals written down. You have to have your 4 yearly goals for your health, wealth, relationships, and lifestyle. Because becoming successful is hard, and if you want to be successful in not just business, but you want to be physically fit, successful with women, successful in the lifestyle that you live, you got a lot of work cut out for you, and you got to be organized to do that. If you're not organized, you're not going to have time to do everything, and you're going to be lost, and you're going to be overwhelmed, and you're going to feel like the sky is falling on your head. But when you're organized, you're on top of things, okay? Organization might seem like a dirty word because your mom was yelling at you to be organized your whole life, but you got to do it. And it's not a dirty word. You'll look back and you'll think, how was I not organized? I was the messiest, most disorganized person at 20 until I became so disgusted with myself and how dirty my room was, in college. There was just weed everywhere and plates that haven't been washed in weeks. I got so disgusted with that. I vowed never again, and I've never been disorganized since then. And you need to have a moment like that too, okay, where you say never again. And the truth is, life is so much easier when it's organized. People ask me, how do I, keep up with the system? It's easy. I don't even have to think about it. I just put the thing back in its place when I'm done with it. I just order my supplies like I'm supposed to. And my phone I got the Wonderlist task app, my phone just tells me what to do every day. I don't have to think. All the systems have checks and balances in place where everything gets automatically renewed. I get automated reminders for everything. I know what I have to do for the day. I don't have to fucking think. Okay, when you take organization to that level, my life's on autopilot. Everything is just handled. Okay, and it's an incredible place to be. When you hear women complain about their husbands, having to pick up his socks off the floor, that's because they married a boy, not a man. Okay, a man isn't even in the ballpark of that shit. A man is the one who's the head of his household. A man's the one who handles his finances. A man is the one who makes his partner live up to his organizational standards. Okay, a man is never in a position of getting nagged for not doing things because he's so far above that. First of all, he's not going to date a woman who nags. Second of all, he's so far above that his partner is going to have to keep up with his high organizational standards. Okay, organization is one of the key pillars of manhood, and your 20s is the decade to become a man. Okay, can't spend your whole life being a boy. You got to become a man, and being self-reliant, organized, living with integrity, all that shit is super important, and you got to get that handled. The sooner the better. So in summary, that is it, guys. That is the game plan. Okay, you follow this game plan, you are going to own your 20s. If you don't, it's a lifetime of quiet reservation, quiet desperation and mediocrity. And the sooner you get it handled, the better. Don't make the same mistakes I did. Don't make the much more painful mistakes that almost every other guy makes. Do it right from day one and take this shit seriously, okay? Imagine you're in my position and you got a chance to do it all over again. And you can start from scratch, doing it right from day one. It is so incredibly important, such an incredible opportunity that you have as a young man, knowing this stuff and having access to this stuff on the internet and being able to do it right from day one. Save yourself so much pain, so much heartache, so much drama, and you can live a life of freedom, abundance, women, physical fitness, all the things that you want. You just got to follow the game plan, all right? Thank you so much for watching this video. Thank you so much for listening to the podcast, as well as thank you for reading the article if you've read the article. And as always, I wish you all the best in your personal development journey.